It's your boy J.H. Gibbons here.
And we'll see.
And welcome to another episode of the Achromas Podcast, episode 112. If you're listening, it means you are listening on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, anywhere you can hear a podcast. If you're watching us, it means you're probably looking at us live on TikTok. If not, you are looking at us on YouTube at this recording of the Achromas Podcast on a Sunday, which is a little different than we've done in the past. But here's what I want you to do if you are watching. I want you to hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, and hit that notification bell. You see, the next time you hop on YouTube and you're scrolling down your feed and you're looking for a video to help you get through the day, just 30 minutes of your day, just to help you get through, you will find none other than your Achromas Podcast. And most of all, we'll see.
It's free to do so. It doesn't cost you anything but time, effort, and consistency for investing into you. Isn't it crazy?
Folks, no money.
Isn't it crazy? Like
how
many
wild.
things can you speak on nowadays that you can do exactly just those things?
Ain't
and
look,
all it's gonna do is just cause for you to show us some love by liking our content, subscribing to it, turning on that notification bell so you'll be the first one to receive it when new gems drop for you. And we would be also glad if you could share that content as well, because each one teach one is our motto. So please do those things. We greatly appreciate it. And sit back and enjoy episode 112.
What a week it has been, we'll see. Every week we come on here, and that's it's sort of the signature thing I say now every time. But I mean, God, every single week is something, man. Every single week there's something that we go through. There are challenges, there are ups, there are downs, there are exciting times and depressing times. But I've come to the conclusion that's life. It is what it is. This is just how it's supposed to be. Look, I wish 20 years ago somebody told me, HA, it is going to be hard for you. It's going to be hard. It's going to be very difficult. Every single day you're going to have to make a choice, a decision that could lead you down one path or the other. You have to make a lot of sacrifices. There's going to be a lot of fakery in the world. You just got to roll with it. You got to try to weave your way through to have people hear the content that works for them. You're going to be partnering. We'll see y'all going to be doing 112 episodes in a podcast in a basement or in a bedroom with a poster behind you in a dark room, starting, but you're just going to keep going. You're going to keep growing. You're going to have great people on that are going to sit there and tell themselves about your life that they can share with the community, and they will be able to take some of the tips, some of the advice that they hand out. Even some business partners have been able to join each other from our podcast. We'll see. So, if somebody told me that 20 years ago, I'd probably have mixed feelings. I think one of the first things I would say is, man, am I going to be rich by that time? That'd probably be my first question, obviously, because who doesn't want to be well off these days? But I think the biggest thing we'll see, and is kind of getting into our episode this week, is what it truly takes to believe in yourself fully, to take the action that you need to get closer to your goals, closer to your purpose, and to be able to fulfill it. Now, a good example on this episode, I actually have a couple, we'll see, but I'll start with the first one when it comes to betting on yourself. Now, if anybody watching there live or listening on YouTube once this is recorded knows anything about a quarterback for the Baltimore Ravens, who has just been electrifying for the past 4 or 5 years now and is in deep contract talks with his team, none other than Lamar Jackson. Even if you're not a football fan, you've probably seen or heard his name. You probably saw some of the highlights online or wherever you watch any sort of sport. You've probably heard his name before. So just to give you a little bit of backstory here, Lamar Jackson is looking for a guaranteed contract similar to the one that Deshaun Watson got. And I think his was about $250 million guaranteed. Now, that is an incredible amount of money for anybody. But if you've been watching the NFL, you know what Deshaun Watson was accused of a few months ago, even I think it was through last year as well. So for him to get a crazy contract like that is just asinine, in my opinion. But I can understand why somebody who was a former league MVP unanimous, a former first round pick, he's broken all sorts of records for his organization. I can understand why he would believe he'd want that money, but I think the way the NFL is set up, man, those owners are looking at each other and like, yeah, we're not spending $250 million guaranteed on anybody anymore. That was an anomaly. That was a mistake. We're never going back that route. But if I'm Lamar Jackson, I'm still sitting there betting on myself. And even though I don't have many people in my corner, look, even my own team is kind of shopping me right now. I'm on a non-exclusive franchise tag, meaning I'm free to the market. I can sit down and talk to other teams. They can give me, they can send me an offer, and then I would be able to go back to the Ravens to see if they match. If they don't, I will be on that new team. If they do, and I'm staying with the Ravens. For me, if I'm Lamar, I would first of all say to him, keep betting on yourself. You don't know what you don't know. Him not having an agent, I think, personally hurts him. But Lamar believes in himself. He believes in his capabilities, even if the general public doesn't, even if his own organization doesn't. He's betting on himself in the highest way, right? I mean, we're talking about the NFL. It's a professional sport league in our country, the most famous one, the most popular one, the most watched by far. So I think that in his case, the one thing I would continue to say is just continue to believe in yourself. Know what you bring to the table, and know that not everybody's going to believe in the abilities that you have. Even if you go out there and you prove it next year, let's say you take the team to the Super Bowl, right? You can now sit up here and say, this is what I did. This is my value to not just your team, but to the NFL, to the league, right? So then he would be able to have the last laugh. He would have the leg up against the competition or anybody who has doubted him along the way. And I think in our lives, we'll see we can say the same thing about ourselves. I know both you and I have been counted out so many times, both in our personal lives and in a Chromis as well. And I think for us to continue to keep going, knowing that we believe in what we have to offer, even though sometimes we have to shovel through the doubt that we have based on what's going on in society, quite frankly, based on what people are watching these days. I'm talking to you guys. And it's, sometimes it's just different, and I think for us, as long as we continue to pivot, as long as we continue to bring it to our audience that is paying attention to us, the ones that are subscribing, liking, commenting, sharing, then I still think we have a way in, because once we're in, that's when it begins, really. So I think a lot of this is just the groundwork. It's like anybody who may be listening right now, just continue to follow along the path that you believe is for you. Continue to chase that purpose, regardless what anybody else says. Of course, if you're doing something that is not going to benefit society in any way, shape, or form, then I would discontinue that. But if you have dreams bigger than this planet can hold you in, just keep pushing, keep growing, keep molding yourself. There are other people who believe in you. And even if they don't believe in you, they believe in the belief that you have in yourself. So make sure that you continue to push, man.
Yeah, well said, Jay. I wholeheartedly agree with you. Each point mentioned, and if I were to be able to add anything in addition to that, it would be to not get too distracted on the expectations that others have set for you along your way, because a lot of the times we judge and measure the level of our success based upon how our peers are responding to us. Um, I don't know if this is going to come as a surprise to some of you, but the reality of it is that a lot of people who do make it and break through that stratosphere to achieve their dreams and everything that they've aspired in life, they've received a lot of that support and love and consistency of kind of getting that support from people who they didn't even know. A lot of the times, you're not going to always get that. Hey, great job, man. I see what you're doing. I know how hard you're working. I know how hard you're grinding. I see how dedicated you are to your craft. I've been supportive to you for as long as I can remember. You're not going to always get that. A lot of what we see nowadays is people who have already arrived and, like, you take a stone and you cast it into water, the ripple effects are there. So those are a lot of the ripple effects from that stone that they decided to cast long before the arrival of receiving those praise and reviews. A lot of the time you're not going to get that. It's going to be quiet. And I think we psych ourselves out because we put in our mind that we kind of are entitled to receiving that from those we feel are closest to us, because they're around us, they know the struggle, they know our journey, they know our story. in life, and we don't always get that, but that's okay. Allow yourself to manifest that as energy, channel that to drive you to be even more ambitious for yourself. Because the only person thought that should matter above all else on your journey to arrive to the place you desire to be is your own. If you continue to manifest that tunnel vision and you have belief in yourself and your capabilities, you continue to grow. You will continue to move and progress in a way that's for you in life where you're choosing to be because it's your journey. That's the beautiful part about this is that we all have a choice. So you might not get the support and the raves and the reviews that you feel like you deserve at this point in time, but you are learning the life experiences that you were meant to gain along the way so that you know the trajectory that you're in right now and making sure that you're still on course, adapting, adjusting, and evolving your methods along the way. It's really important to not lose sight of those things. And a lot of times, and I've been guilty of that. Jay's been guilty of that. Like we
For sure.
all are. We get to a point where we get fixated on, the amount of effort and work that we put in thus far into things that are important to us and is not being recognized because it's being overshadowed by those sometimes we perceive to be undeserving of it. But everyone's entitled to their thoughts. They're entitled to, what their realm is and what they believe they want to do. And I'm a firm believer that consistency always wins. Consistency and commitment to what you desire to improve and to be good and be the best at for yourself will always prevail based upon the efforts that you continue to deliver. So if you run into a brick wall and something's not working for you, that's okay. You need to shift and pivot and go another lane. Adjust your tactic to get ahead, to keep moving and accelerating. The moment that you hit that wall and you come to a complete stop and you turn around and walk away is when you've lost. You failed because you haven't given the best that you could have. And it's okay sometimes if you realize you got to adjust your lane for whatever it is that you're trying to achieve and it not being for you. Because sometimes we discover what our true purposes are by, aspiring to go for something. And then we learn that that wasn't really what we were meant to do to begin with. So you learn what your lessons are, and the experiences that you have is like what will gravitate people towards you because they'll know what's authenticity versus something that is just of the moment, something that is circumstantial, something that is just a phase or, a passing one hit wonder, if you will, of the world. The anomaly, like those are out there, as Jay mentioned, they happen and it's okay. It's been happening for eons and it's going to continue to happen long after we're gone. However, the time and the effort that you put in along the way on your journey, reflect on those things, write them down if you got to, put them as bulletins, whatever you need to do so that you don't forget the effort that you put in and where you are today, and pat yourself on the back for the work that you've been putting in and continue to move forward. Don't stop because you got to matter before anything else. And if you don't know your own worth or take the time to try to learn what you're investing into, how can you expect to be the best that you could possibly be at what you're doing? You've got to really get to a place of loving your efforts and yourself and not becoming stagnant or in just your emotions and like that part of it, because it can get to you sometimes, especially when you're dealing with other life events and circumstances that is just weighing you down. Life is just kicking your ass because it happens. It happens to us all. We all get beat down. We have those days where life is just getting the best of us, and sometimes we just got to regroup, unwind and recalibrate our direction and know that it's okay to do it. You become a crash dummy when you keep moving forward, when you know something isn't working for you, or you're encountering problem after problem. That's when you start getting those ailments. That's when you start having those injuries of emotions or physicality, whatever it is that's bothering you. I speak from experience, and it's a lesson that I'm learning harshly to this day. But guess what? You continue to move forward and you embrace the lessons and experiences you have, and you'll be better for it. And ultimately, you'll be the best you can be as you move along the way. And that's the key to it. That's why consistency is so important. That's why self-awareness in your direction is so important. And making sure that as you go along the way, you keep those close to you who are a reminder of accountability and who see the journey and the story and who are actively a part of that, contributing in the ways that they can best contribute to them that's within their boundaries, right? Because we can't continue to set expectations for others to do things the way we perceive that it should be done. And that's in relationships, that is in business, that is in, all forms of walks of life, because we are, our own individual self. So we should be mindful and respectful of that, of each other's time, our efforts, but make sure that it doesn't go unnoticed. Make sure you let those people know. And if you do see people who are aspiring to live out their dreams and they're really trying, support them, give them that love, man. I think we saw a good example of it, as much as people I've saw lately kind of talk about what happened with Michael B. Jordan and Creed 3, and the conversation about him calling the young lady out
Oh
calling
yeah, on the
corny.
red carpet. Yeah,
Yeah, and
yeah.
people making fun of him for calling her out corny for something she did, which was in essence corny itself. I think that's people in a time where people don't want to be held accountable.
It's very true.
I didn't think it was wrong with what he said. He didn't say anything offensive. It was just, hey, I just want you to know that I remembered that, and it gave me motivation
Boom.
to
That's
continue doing
exactly
what
what I
I
was going
was
to say.
doing, to
Yeah.
continue moving forward in the head. And look at where we are. You arrived at the place in time where you needed to be. And I did, by me being that corny, authentic self, I've arrived to my place, and here we
Mhm.
are together. But sometimes it's good to let people see it. And sometimes it's good to speak your truth, be within your truth, tell your story. That's all right to reflect on along the way. It doesn't make you egotistical to do that. You are speaking your truth as long as you are accountable, as long as you're applying those efforts, as long as you're doing diligent work to be better and do better. You'll be the best that you can be at all times.
Mm.
So take those harsh lessons that life is giving to you now. Don't run away from them. Take those thrashes of sometimes you're not gonna always come up on top or always feel your best. Take it for what it is, embrace it, learn from it, do better, and be better.
Mm.
Because each second of your life, you should always feel like you're at your best in that moment, regardless of the outcome. Because you can only do and be better from there. You can only grow and get better, right?
Mhm.
As long as you're consistent, as long as you're applying that thought process in life, as long as you continue to move forward, be that buffalo, move forward through that damn storm, and just do the best you can, because that's all any of us can do. And stay in your lane and stop worrying about the next person if you can. But if you do see people who are striving to be ambitious as hard as you, give them that support, man, because it's hard, because it's easier to look at the person who's already made it and speculate of what their story look like, because it can be made to be a beautiful fairy tale. In reality, it was a harsh journey, and we all have a story to tell, we all have one to share, but each one teach one is what we're here to do, and this is what we're delivering to you today. So
Mm.
keep your head up, keep your chin held high, keep your heart intact, stand 10 toes down, and be your authentic self at all times.
Mm.
And learn how to support each other who are really out there doing the work like what we're doing right now.
That was perfectly said. We'll see. I don't. I personally do not have anything else to add. Besides the fact that my phone just died. Um, I have nothing else to add there. But what I would say to anyone who is listening, man, all of this is so much easier when you find out what your purpose is. And we all have different purposes in life. Some of us may have quite a few at one time, but you got to focus on one and you got to go 100% at that particular one for that particular time. Now, who knows what the future might hold for you or any of us here, but at this moment, go all in on what you know you're being called to do. And everything else in between will be so much easier to do. I want you guys to know that being able to come here and do 112 episodes of a podcast each and every week, regardless of what's going on in our personal life, it is very, very difficult to do. Scheduling sometimes doesn't work. Some of us are in business travel. Sometimes we may have, family conflicts or scheduling conflicts or whatever it may be, but we still come here to provide you with this because it has helped us get to where we are now, not just with the podcast, but personally in both of our lives. It's kept us going through all the hardships that we've had to go through, and we're all facing them. We're all facing them. So, as Will C said, you just got to keep pushing. If you are on the sidelines next to somebody that you know that they need a water break. You see them, they're dying out there, right? Similar to Lamar Jackson. He's gotten hit up, he's gotten beat a few times. He needs a break. Call a timeout. Bring him over. Hey, you're doing great. Keep pushing. Keep building. Look, I know you struggled in the first half. Come back stronger in the second. We're a team. We've got more time. There's so much more time left, not just in the next half, but of your life. There's so much more time. Take it easy. Go through the steps. We practiced this. We did this all through the week to get to this one moment. Over 100 reps. We know what we're doing. Just do you. Have faith in yourself. Have confidence in yourself. Keep pushing, keep building, keep growing, and eventually you will reach the Super Bowl of your life.
Yeah. And that's our message for you today. Clear and concise. This is how you'll be the best you'll be. But it starts with you. It starts with being accountable and recognizing those things. So we hope that you're able to take some of what we provided, these gems, and if it resonates with you, allow yourself to do the work that needs to be done so that you can be your best in this moment.
100%. Look, we've come to the part of our podcast. You guys know it by now if you've been here before. If you haven't, I got something for you at the end. But if you are new, this is still your opportunity to participate in what we call community building. This is an opportunity for you to make your voice heard, for you to share with us, to share with our community what you've been going through. So I want you guys at this time to tell us exactly how you've been able to push through all of the controversy that you've been through in your life. How are you able to keep going? How did you bet on yourself specifically? What did you have to do? You let us know. The best answer that we get, the best response we get would be featured on the next episode of the Acromas podcast. You would also be featured in a short that we will have before the next podcast episode airs. And I'm going to add a little bit of flavor to this. We'll see. The best response that we get for the question I was asked today, you will have 50% off of anything in our store.
Anything
Right now. Look, we have a bag that so many people have been clamoring about for the past 7-8 months. We were sold out, but thankfully our business partners have gotten it together. And we've got a bag for you. It's more than a duffel bag. It's your life that you can carry on your back and you don't feel the weight on your shoulder. This bag will be able to help you carry anything that you need, whether you're going to the gym or you're going out for a nice walk or you're going to work and you just need something to carry your belongings in. Head to our website, acromasfitness.com. You'll see it. It's on the first page. Just take a look at it, especially if you're going to respond, if you're going to leave a comment, if you're going to share your story. It's an opportunity to get 50% off of that or any other thing on our website. I mean, that's a great deal, we'll see, but the best deal is the deal that we've been able to have with our audience for the past year and a half, almost 2 years now, maybe over that. I can't even keep track. So you've been here for a while. I would say the deal that we have with each other to keep growing, to keep pushing, keep each other accountable, and ensure that if we're betting on ourselves, that we are not alone in this fight. We are not alone in this journey. We're all in this together. We're all pushing each other. We're all growing together. So that at the end, we can all sit back and cheer ourselves on because of how far we've gotten. But you'll never get to the end. We'll keep growing. We'll keep building. And that's the beauty of life. So make sure you take advantage of that.
Yeah. Oh, man. Well said. I mean, would you like to tell them our store just to let them know exactly where they can go and get that 50% off?
Absolutely. Acromasfitness.com. Check it out right now. You can go to Google, whatever search engine. Look, if you're using a chat bot, type that in. They'll know exactly who we are better than Google ever will. So make sure, shout out to Google too. I don't want to make them upset, but make sure you go to our website at acromasfitness.com. We've got deals going on right now. We've got some gear to get you guys ready for spring and summer. Man, I can't wait for our summer series later on. We'll see, and we'll get into that in another episode, but it's going to be an incredible year, not just for us, but for you. So we got to make sure that we put you first. Check out our website, check out our clothes, our gear, our accessories. The newest, the latest and greatest duffel bag is out now, guys. It is incredible. I'm actually buying mine this weekend. And I hope to have it sitting next to me in one of these episodes here so you guys can see exactly what we're talking about, right? The proof has to be in the pudding. You got to see what we have in order to love what we have. And I know for some of you guys, you've been here before. You're right. This is episode 112. You've probably been here from episode 1. If you have, God bless you, because I wouldn't even stayed. So thank you for being here. Thank you for joining us again. Now, if you have been here before, right? There's some of you guys that you come in every day, you come in every time, every week, and you just don't know how to spell us out. You don't know what we stand for. We'll tell you again. We'll help you out. We're in a pretty good mood. ACHROMOUS. You can find us anywhere that you could hear a podcast. That's Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Spotify, anywhere. You could even find us live on TikTok before the battery on my phone died. But if you are watching the recording, you see, this is how we segment people to our podcast, right?
Yep.
To get to YouTube, to be able to subscribe, to share it, to like it, all that stuff on YouTube, to be able to catch this, right? This is what we do. That the fact that my phone died, I mean, it's just like it is supposed to happen on purpose so that you can hear the rest of this, because there's so many gems in it, and we want you to make sure that you capture it, not only capture it, but you share it with that audience. So I need you to hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, hit that notification bell, and also share. You see, the next time you do that, you come on this YouTube app, you're scrolling down your feed, you're forgetting all of those paid ads that you're seeing in these videos about some guy sitting on his Ferrari telling you that he makes $1 million a month. Do not listen to them. Ask yourself this: if you were making $1 million a month, would you be selling the course? No, you'd be out here making more money, right? You would create your own self-a-school. So don't listen to these guys. Do not invest in this. Invest in yourself. You are your greatest asset. And do us a favor, hit that like button, that subscribe button, that notification bell. Share this episode, because you cannot find realistic, authentic content like this anywhere on the web. And I can't believe I'm going to say this again, we'll see, but most of all,
free to do so.
Unbelievable.
You are committing to making a better you today. Free of charge. Free of charge. And all we ask is for you to like, turn on your notification bell, subscribe to our content, guys, and then share it so we can continue to teach folks and help people get these gems so we all grow together.
Unbelievable. We'll see. Look, it's going to be a great week for everybody who's listening to this podcast episode, regardless what week you're in, regardless what year you're in, decade, century, who knows where you're listening to this, but wherever you are, we hope that you enjoyed this episode. We hope that you took notes, and there is something, just one thing, that you can take action on this week to ensure that you continue to bet on yourself and you know exactly where you're going. That is all we ask, and that's why we're here, because you matter. You're so damn worth it. So until next Sunday, it is your boy, J.H. Gibbons.
And I'm going to see.